Okay, Dave. So we are at the end of the beginning of the November 22nd turn in Guderian's Blitzkrieg. And let's give you a little summary here. So actually, I flipped the map around because now most of the action is closer to Moscow. So here's Moscow. And the Soviets have got some units in the city and in front, just to the west of the city, they have a line of hedgehogs or fortifications built up. The highest level is 4, and obviously the lowest is 1. And then as we go further to the west, there's another little defensive line that the Soviets have set up right along there, and then there are the Germans. So they've been steadily approaching from the west on a couple of different rail lines. This is the main rail line here. So there's a bunch of German infantry divisions that are getting ready to make the assault to the east. So that's kind of the middle of the map. And then up north, there's another little, Soviets are kind of just trying to delay the Germans from crossing the river there at that city. And then further north, the Soviets have been retreating. I'm planning on trying to defend right along this river line there, try to slow the Germans down. So the Germans are still back here. They're trying to get their rail converted so that they can keep all the units in trace supply. So I need to move a rail engineer unit up there at some point. So I haven't decided exactly when. It's the best time to do that. And let's go. So we're heading south now. And so there, in the first turn of the game, the Germans captured that city, Orel, which cut off one of the lines, rail lines to Bryansk, back there where the Russians had a lot of units. And then on the second turn, they cut the rail line here, which isolated all of those units in Bryansk. And so it took a few turns, and all those units, Soviet units, basically were eliminated due to attrition losses. And so now the Germans have been steadily moving up. We had a lot of mud turns or mud weather in late October and into November, which really slowed things down for the Germans. There's some special rules about mud where you get some wagon transport points, but when you get to the first freeze turn of the game, then you make die rolls for each truck point that you have, and you lose so many trucks when you roll. I forget what it is. I think you roll a 1, and I lost like 5 truck points, which is pretty huge. That hampers your ability to move those combat supply points right there, which allow your units to fight and fuel truck units and track units. Okay, so here are the Germans. They are right about up to there. Soviets have a defensive line right in front of Voronezh, and I've got some hedgehogs built up in that city as well. Those, by the way, that little red number there, 5, those are victory points. So by the end of this game, if the Germans have 35 victory points total, they win the scenario. So just by way of as an example, Moscow is worth, where is it here? I got it covered up. Yeah, it's worth 50 victory points. So that just shows you how valuable Moscow is, obviously. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to Moscow, so we shall see. So that's the summary as of November 22nd, 1941. So we'll send you another update as we progress.